big show.
Thank you, Scott. It's great to be here.
I should say 6.5. She's also going to be talking. She has JB Ellis's information too, so she gets to do double duty. Jacob Christner, welcome back.
Hope you have the hat. Hope you have the hat, Candy. This time you better do it.
I keep forgetting. I need to get the hat.
Gonna get her a
Bring a
hat
hat
from the
around.
country club.
I'll
Now
tell
we got-
JB he needs to mail me one.
Listen.
Look,
And we got the guy from Shake Back Media Group here that goes out there and shake back, rattle, and roll. Oh, I had to come up with that one. I've had so much caffeine, might as well put that one out there. Willie Epting Jr., welcome to the big show.
Well, thank you for having me once again, Scooter. It is a pleasure to be on with everybody.
I would love having you, Willie. There's something about you I just like there, but that old broadcasting camaraderie. And of course, my personal pinata, George Eichhorn. Good to kick him around every night. He comes out with me. Welcome back, pinata.
Oh yeah. It's great being here again to be kicked off. I mean,
Hey, everybody's got to have one.
and
See,
look,
but
and
when
look
you
at my
hit
guy.
him, he
Yeah,
doesn't
look at
swing
this
around.
dueling pianos over here, Scott. My buddy Pensman, he's stealing my piano.
Yeah.
Are you two roommates?
Yeah.
No, he taught me how to play the piano. So,
Yeah, all right. Yeah. They always say that song is searching for a miracle. I don't know, but I got plenty of topics. Welcome back, Benjamin. The two
Thanks for
piano
having me,
player
Scott.
boys. All right, let's get to it. Our goal here is to be done by about 10:30 Eastern time. Give or take a few minutes, but we have some open-ended topics to go along with the immediate news availability. So we're going to start off with Phil Jackson, though, first. He's calling out the NBA for ignoring religious tradition. It's like Christian holidays don't mean anything to them anymore. I guess he's referring to Christmas, but let me say this before I turn it over. You mean to tell me that you're worried about it now? How many Christmas days did you play on, Mr. Jackson? That's all I can say. Now you're worried about it because you're out in Montana messing around with all the bears and all that. So I'm going to start off with Willie. What do you think about Phil Jackson talking about Christian holidays don't mean anything to them anymore?
You know what? I think he's right. And it's it may not be a popular opinion. I kind of don't care, to be honest with you, but I think he's right because now the NBA has 6-7 games on Christmas Day, when in the past it was at the most maybe 4. So the almighty dollar has taken over, or shall I say further taken over, because the NFL is doing it. I mean, if it were up to Major League Baseball, they would probably just start the season for a couple of days and come back and do it on Christmas also. So it's the almighty dollar that is ruling the roost. So I think he's right.
Well, I never thought about it that way. I guess you're pretty much saying that they're overdoing it on Christmas Day. 2-3 games, yes. 9 million of them, no. Okay, I'll give you that one, Willie. I'll even use it as my opinion. I'll give you that one, Willie, so that we can shave off the fat of the show and move over to my pinata Eichhorn. Go ahead.
Well, I've known this for years. Come on, there's no secret here either. You take a look at the calendar, but it's not just the NBA. Okay, we have other leagues that are doing the same thing, ignoring Christian holidays. But let's be fair to our Jewish brethren too. Some of their holidays also are celebrated throughout the year, and the leagues don't take those nights off my hand. Passover, whenever. But there's a lot of holidays that are just trampled on. Let's be honest. The NFL's doing it now on Christmas, and of course, Major League Baseball doesn't care about Good Friday or Easter Sunday. End of my case.
Well, you know what? You know how Jewish I really am? I'll tell you how Jewish I really am. Now, I'm talking about religion and politics. I didn't even know when Hanukkah was until I went to a Miami Heat game down in downtown Miami, and the rabbi was singing the national anthem, and it was Hanukkah. I didn't even know that, but they are Jewish in Miami. That's for sure. The road on I-95 goes from New York all the way to Miami. Not knocking my Jewish people. I'm Jewish. I admit it. There are a lot of people that are Jewish. I don't know about them, but I'm talking about Christmas. We're not talking about Hanukkah, which is a revolving door every year. You never know what any of these. Passover is a revolving door. And a lot of these Jewish holidays, they're not on the same thing. I got married on January 1. Okay, I know when my anniversary is. I'm not getting to nobody's doghouse because of it. Or July 4th. You don't have those set holidays. But really, seriously, really, another reason because of you, I got to use those 3 words. I'm learning it over in Miami American Airlines Arena. Oh my goodness. Fred, sorry. I'm having a bad one. No, I'm not. I got to get to the show. All right, I'll turn over to Fred now. Fred Sanford. Haven't heard that name in a while, have you, Willie?
That was a perfect example of being a Motor City mad mouth, or maybe just, or maybe just Mad Magazine. I don't know. That was pretty good.
Oh, thank you. I'll take that. All right, Penn, go over there. I better quit walling ahead with Mr. Willie. All right, go ahead.
In my opinion, because of what Willie said, because of the mighty dollar, if it was up to me, if I was the commissioner, I'll take a couple days off of Christmas. I don't think they should play on Christmas, but because of the mighty dollar, that whatever the organization wants is what they're going to get. So the family, Christmas is all about family. You should spend time. You're on the road day in and day out, hotel to hotel, and I don't think you should be playing on Christmas Day. That's just my opinion, but that's what I got with that.
Fair enough. What about you, Mr. Opinion?
That would be Mr. Fact.
That
And
too.
listen, let me say this.
Facts.
And Willie, every time I hear you, I think Great Value Dave Chappelle. So it's like as far as your voice.
Oh gosh, I'm not a fan of his, but I'll take that. Thank you very much.
Yes. Hey, you got to save money, right?
Yes.
Okay. No, here's the thing. This is just complete truth. This is Zen Buddhist Phil Jackson. And you want to know what this means, truthfully? This is just a absolutely temperamental dude in his life who found Zen a little later, used it when he'd had 2 titles already before, because before his time, he was the biggest screaming temperamental dude in the NBA. All of a sudden, they win 2 NBA titles, and he looks like the absolute calmest dude in the world. And now you know what he is? Aging. And you're getting when you're getting that close, you're thinking of other ways. And guess what? He's talking about Christianity now. So that's where that's going. But here's the deal with this: if we don't have the NBA, I'm not saying it's right or wrong. I would like to see have a couple days off for everybody. But if we don't have the NBA, we have 48 hours of A Christmas Story, and I can't put up with 24 or even 1. So we got to have something on those Christmas days anyway. You know what I'm saying? So the biggest thing about it is just the fact they also said, I was watching this on Bill Maher once. They also said 23% are not either spiritual or not of any religion. So they're probably thinking in those lines right now that not as many are. If it's like 71% in the Christianity or whatever, and then the other religions, then they're probably just thinking that none of the above or the spirituals are taking over as far as the money.
Okay, fair enough. Candy, you got 2. Who are you going with?
I'm going with the candy hat to start. The NBA has played on Christmas Day for 77 years. The only year it didn't play is in 1998. The lockout occurred that year. 77 years. And now all of a sudden we're going to be concerned about it. And yes, I understand we're playing more games on it. Well, you know why the NBA is playing more games on it? Because they're trying to compete with the NFL, because the NFL has started to play now on Christmas Day. So it is the almighty dollar. Who's going to win? Is it going to be the NBA or the NFL?
NFL. Not even close.
I understand that. But yes, and is it the almighty dollar? Of course it is. But we all forget this is a business. The game is a business. These teams are businesses. Yes, we all look at it as a sport and guys playing. My question would be is how many players for a religious reason have declined to play? And my question is we all talk about it that they shouldn't be playing on it, but how many families go as a family to these games? How much is the attendance? If they didn't have an attendance, if they didn't have people going, then they wouldn't continue to be on these religious holidays. But they're doing it, and everybody's supporting it because they're watching it, they're going to these games. They're going to continue.
Okay, one thing I want to say before you get to JB, Cyberuski, not relative to the show. Well, I'll leave it at that, and you ought to know better than that and tell your other crony the same thing, and that's as far as I'm going to go. All right, go ahead.
There we go.
I
Please
like
keep
to go out
comments on
there.
topic for the panel to address them. There we go.
There you go.
So the JB hat. It's been quite some time since any sport honored religious holidays. I mean, even Thanksgiving Day, we had Walmart open and other stores. It's a privilege to play a sport, and it's entertainment. So I have available during the holiday time, to me, I think is acceptable. There once was a top tier major league pitcher who refused to pitch on Yom Kippur by the name of Sandy Koufax. And you know what? The team respected his decision, and so did the league. So, I mean, if guys don't want to play because it's a religious holiday, I don't think anyone would stop them. But it's just not a league. I don't respect religious holidays anymore, a whole community. So, that's JB's comments.
All right, quick news update. We'll continue to move the show along. College basketball note: Indiana hired West Virginia's Darian DeVries as their next head coach to replace Mike Woodson, who, by the way, is the assistant coach in Sacramento under new coach Doug Christie. Doug Christie was 27 and 24 and has had that interim tag removed. So just want to put that out there since we're on the topic of basketball. The new head coach over at Indiana is Darian DeVries, fresh off the West Virginia Mountaineers. We'll continue the basketball theme for one moment. Then I want to get to golf real quickly, and that's this. Okay, Dallas Mavericks were able to win. The Dallas Mavericks in the win. Get this, and I know you love this one. That's why it doesn't have to be part of your town, Willie, because we're helping you out and giving you something else to talk about. The draft lottery, the reward. Dallas gets. The Wings get paid Beckers, and the Mavericks get Cooper Flag, and they also get off the hook for losing with Luka Doncic, right? So it kind of makes life a little bit easier. But since you're in that neck of the woods, Lily, what are your thoughts about the two lotteries in the respective NBAs going in favor of the Dallas squads? Well,
I wish I cared. But I because I can't stand the Mavericks, although I did have a pleasure of a time covering those guys back before the pandemic. I thought Luka Doncic was very easy to talk to, very humble at that time. He was, of course, a rookie. And Paige Beckers, I have not had an opportunity to speak with her yet, but I do believe I am on the verge of getting credentials to the Dallas Wings. So the Dallas market can be very unforgiving, especially when it comes to players that they adore and that they are enamored with. And Luka Doncic is one of those guys. But if you are a Laker fan like I am, you're understanding why Nico Harrison made that trade, because Luka fell apart in the playoffs again because he's not in shape. He's not in good enough shape. So I think the Cooper Flag or winning the lottery is going to be a huge point of forgiveness for fans of the Dallas market.
No.
Huh?
No.
Yeah, it will be.
No.
Let him finish.
It will be, because if they draft Cooper Flag, who I'm really not that high on, to be honest with you, but to each his own, and they get a healthy bubble wrapped Anthony Davis, and Kyrie comes back in, say, I don't know, February, and they're hovering around that 7, 6, 7, 8 spot, they're going to be okay for next year. Now, a lot of that, of course, is going to depend on the health of Kyrie, but they would be they would be okay, especially if the Lakers don't advance any further than the Lakers did this year. If it's the same type of who's going to get to the tape quicker, and the Mavs somehow edge out the Lakers, all will be forgotten. Trust me.
Great stuff. Okay, Jacob, since you have a few opinions on it, go ahead. I'll let you go next.
Number one, he traded him for a human blue tent from the NFL with Anthony Davis. That is, I mean, if his whole idea was someone's breaking down because of the thing, you don't get him for another guy who's breaking down. The guy is legitimate breakdown. You said bubble wrap, and then Kyrie's 1 year older. The biggest thing with it whatsoever is if you wanted to trade bad enough, why get it for the problem that you had in the first place? There's where my issue is with this. It feels personal with Nico. It felt personal with him within the first place because he could have traded for like two other guys, healthy guys, could have traded anywhere else, but he traded for the same thing, another guy that breaks down. Because very first game AD played, he got injured. Comes back 2-3 other games later, gets injured. What was the complete and utter point of that, is what I'm trying to say. But it felt, one of the things about it is, if you're going to make a decision like that after you've made the finals, go get, your whole point is health. You don't kill the idea of your trade by getting someone that's not healthy either. Even if you were to have somebody that's less of a talent than Luka Doncic, get availability. That's all I'm saying, Willie. Get availability. You're not getting any availability. I mean, the guy is literally, one of his games, AD's games, that he got hurt, he literally was doing a jump shot and went down on his ankle. I mean, it was literally not touched. This is normal with him. It's literally like if you played on a video game and that's what's going to happen.
Fair enough.
But I'm just saying this real fast. It's like, to me, Nico Harrison, if Nico Harrison really wanted to make it a business decision and say, I'm right on this, he would have gone after some health, not the same darn thing based off the fact and hope and pray. It felt personal.
Let me respond to that real quick, Scooter,
Sure.
because it's not about who won the trade. It's about our Dallas fans are going to be forgiving, and they will be, especially as I'm telling you the truth, man, especially if, and it's a big if the Mavs are able to get to the playoffs and advance further than the Lakers. I'm telling you, all will be forgotten. And the sentiment around here is that Luka Doncic was essentially traded for Cooper Flag, not necessarily for Anthony Davis. That's how they've been framing it around here. So they're already in the forgiving process because they think they're going to get their guy. And I'm not saying I agree with it. I'm not even saying that it's right or wrong. I'm just telling you what it is around here.
Well, you know what?
Because fans are emotional nitwits.
Well, I'll go there. I got a fan topic for you next week. Save it, okay? I got to make sure that I get Willie out of here before his bedtime. Just kidding with you. You know, I'm just kidding with you. I'm trying to be respectful to my man Willie. You know, I tell you, Willie at the bat. But you know what? I'm going to say my opinion before anybody else. Number one, I understand your logic. If only the Detroit Red Wings had the same luck as the Dallas Wings, they'd be a whole lot better off. Period. They've never gotten to one pick, and they're still bad. Really, seriously, really, boy, I tell you, I really got the caffeine loaded earlier, and I had another show before. That's what makes me worse. But the bottom line is, you're right. Okay, the Dallas Mark. That's exactly how they're going to go out there and say it, Willie. They're going to say, okay, we get it. Okay, Luka's gone. He's overweight anyways. He's never in shape. So you have yourself an elephant running down there who can't keep up with the other old man to begin with. So he's out of shape. But now that you have a GM saying, all right, let me catch my breath. Let me pretend I'm Aaron Rodgers. I'm going to try to relax a little bit because Lady Luck was on the side of the Dallas Wings. And guess what? The reward is Paige Becker for the Wings. Meanwhile, on the other end, you got Luka Doncic, long out first round. Boy, I'm telling you, the Dallas fans had to feel really bad about that. Not. Okay, gone. But if I were the Dallas fans, I would just say one thing. Thank you to the Minnesota Timberwolves for that. You guys owe them a big fat Christmas present for making you not feel as bad as you did, right? And all of a sudden, it isn't so bad anymore. But boy, it was bad when it happened. So I have a lot of opinions, but I'll go to a guy that's probably a little bit more soft-spoken than anybody. His name is Mr. Pence. But I'm going to say one thing, though, Willie. GMTA, brother, Great minds think alike. I'm with you, man. I'm with you. You hit a bullseye, Jacob. Don't worry. I'll give you plenty of time to rip the fans because I only know that's your trademark anyway. Tiger Stripes Media, how you doing, brother? All right, Penguin, go ahead. And I want to say any more on the topic because I said my piece. Because again, Willie is at the bat, and he hit it out of the park, and all I'm doing is hit that as much as I can.
Well, Willie, I think you're wrong because you might be right about forgiving part, but I think you're wrong about the whole thing about what you said because I think the Lakers are going to trade up and get the Lakers' first round pick and get Cooper Flag. I heard on ESPN that they are interested in him, so you never know. You saw the NFL. If you watch the NFL draft, you see draft pick, trade picks. Teams trade up because they want. I think the Lakers are going to grab Cooper Flag for the first round pick. So that's why.
Can I ask you a question? Can I ask you a question?
Go ahead.
And I realize that I have some brain issues, but today, if I understand, is what May 14th, 2025, right? You're not throwing me an April Fool's joke here in May, are you?
I'm not joking. I'm just saying that it's possible that Cooper Flag might be ended up in the Lakers.
Okay, well, you know what? If you think that Cooper Flag is going to the Lakers, I'll say since we've already got religious, that Santa Claus is Jewish. It ain't happening. Okay, but go ahead.
That's a Buddhist.
It ain't happening. But you know what, Penman? That's okay. Everybody needs somebody to go out there. Oh, all right. Seriously, really seriously, I'm having fun with that tonight. I'm not Scooter. I'm Scooter, and I'm talking fast. Come on, Penman. Really?
I'm talking facts too.
Yeah, what facts?
That Cooper Flag might go to the Lakers because Lakers are interested to help the Lakers organization to get over the
hold
up.
Give
me a break.
Maybe hold up. What do you mean?
Right now, I'll help you, Willie. He's done.
I can see Nico doing that, though. I could see him doing it.
Hold up.
See, Jacob agrees with me.
Hold up.
Oh, big deal.
That's
Mr. Facts.
It can't be a fact if you're prefacing with it might be.
Let me tell you something.
The draft's not here yet.
I'll tell you what. If you think that's a fact, then I'll tell you right now, and Willie can relate to this, that Freddie Henderson is the best media guy on the planet, and that guy couldn't hold my jockstrap.
Oh, I'm not going there.
You don't have to go there.
I'm not going there.
You don't have to. I did. Don't say.
No, you said Willie can. You said Willie can attest for it. No, no, Willie.
Well, then don't attest to it. I'll say it myself. Doesn't matter. It is what it is. I don't care. I'm just saying, Willie. You don't have to attest for it. I said it myself. Freddie, I'll tell you what. Since we're in Dallas anyways, okay, and JFK got shot there, they should have had Rosie Greer go out there. Never mind. I'm having fun with the Kennedy analogies anyways. It is what it is. The bottom line is I don't know where you're getting your information, okay, Penman, but I'll tell you what. This is the Sports Exchange, not the National Enquirer or the Penman Enquirer? Is that what they call it? I don't know what they call it. Or are they still in business?
I'm just calling it how I hear it.
Okay, well, you hear it. Okay.
It's a possibility that the
Lakers... I'll tell you what I'll do.
The Lakers need help.
I'll send you my hearing aids through UPS and see where you're hearing it at.
Okay. All right.
All right, Icorn. Go ahead. Let's see if you can make sense out of Penman. Yeah. Willie, I'll tell you one thing, brother. We do have fun on this show, don't we?
Yeah, we do.
Don't worry. You don't have to attest anything. I've been waiting to get off that off my chest for a long time, and I'm glad. And
what would you do if it actually did happen, Scott? If the Lakers did get him a number one pick, and trade up from Dallas, and get Cooper Flag, what would your response be?
My response would be, if he's asking me, is that Fred Sanford's body would be exhumed from the Las Vegas cemetery that he's buried in.
My response would be, did they get LeBron in replacement?
Well, you asked me a question. I said.
That's right.
Yeah, Fred Sanford's body will be exhumed from the Las Vegas cemetery that he ended up being buried in. And by the way, for all those that know that he went broke, Eddie Murphy is the one that paid for his funeral. There's a little Las Vegas trivia that nobody expected to get anyway. Go ahead, Icorn. See if you can make some sense out of Mr. National Enquirer here.
Yeah. I mean, the fact is that Kyrie is supposed to be back in January if he's healthy. Anthony Davis, 9 games played, like you said. I mean, that's the sample you got to work with. He averaged 20 points in 9 games down in Dallas. The fact of the matter is that Flag, we don't know. We don't know what he's going to be as far as an NBA player, but he does bring a lot of excitement and all that to the game. And I really think that, Pensman, you're not right on that one. I think they're going to keep him, and they're going to want him on the Dallas and they're going to try to sell the heck out of him, obviously, for being part of the rejuvenated Mavericks team. So I'm going to just make this short. I'm going to just say that yeah, Dallas looks good. They're sitting pretty right now, and I think they'll keep that pick and pick Flag. But again, I don't know how that lineup's going to be. We'll have to wait and see. Does Irving come back? Is he healthy in January, or does he make it back even before January? We don't know yet. And Anthony gave us another one, injury prone this past year.
Thank you, George. At least there was a monkey in the middle that made sense to the left of me. The other one made no sense. But I'll tell you what, if he wants to bring it up in the country club and fire up, that's okay. I'm sure he'll have a crew that will go out there and listen to him, and maybe 2 or 3 of them will agree with him. All right, Candy, go ahead. You got JV and your take on this one. Go ahead.
Oh my goodness. I got to follow that. Okay.
Good luck.
Yeah.
Good luck.
So I'm going to put the JB hat on. Let JB follow that. The draft lottery, the Dallas Mavericks history made after trading an iconic player. They will get to select number 1 after winning the draft lottery. They will get to pick another player that they hope will be iconic. I know it's hard to say that the draft lottery is fixed. We all want to feel that way, that Nick's getting new as one example, and there's plenty of others, but I don't think that the teams or the league would go for the fixed. But after trading Luka, to the Mavericks deserve the other 1 pick. My thought is they look bad trading Luka. Did they luck out getting the number 1 draft pick? Yes. We all assume that means they're going to take Cooper Flag. That doesn't mean they're necessarily going to.
They're going to.
Well, here's the other thought. There are some big free agents out there, and not free agents that, let's face it, the monkey in the room for me, considering I'm a Milwaukee Bucks fan, Giannis isn't going to stay. I don't know that if he's played his last game in Milwaukee or not. A lot of teams would be interested in getting him. In order to get him, they're going to have to give up a lot of things. Would there be a possible trade to get Giannis and give up the number 1 pick? We just never know. You just never know. That would be a big trade.
Well, you know what? I'm not following that. A station break is. Go ahead.
South Florida Tribune Publishing Company published a book, Lessons from the Microphone, Tuning into the Enduring Wisdom of Visionary Leaders. It is written by our host, Scott the Motor City Madmouth Morganroth. Talks about his 40-plus years in the media business and how it has evolved and changed. Get your copy today. It's available on Amazon, Barnes & Noble, Kindle, Google, and Apple Books. There's also a link on our website, www.southfloridatribune.com, where there is a plethora of great writers, great content. Go check it out. If you like to listen to podcasts, you can find us wherever you get your podcasts. If you want to advertise or sponsor a show, call Scott 954-304-4941. And if you want to be a guest or have topic ideas, you can always email us at southfloridatribune@gmail.com. Back to you, Scott.
All right. Well, we're going to start off with the title of the show, and that's it. It's Father Time caught up with Phil Mickelson. Here's a little bit of information out there. For the first time in his career, Phil Mickelson had fallen out of the top 1,000 in the world rank. His ranking sits at 125. Keep in mind that Phil Mickelson went out to live golf, is what he did. Made a boatload of money, and I don't know if that was a good move or not move, Willie. Man, can you believe this guy lefty has dropped down to 125? Too surreal. Had to put it in here. And really, I was rooting for lefty for a long time ago. Then he went to live. All I can say, it's just sad that Father Time has caught up with him. I don't have a whole lot more to add to it. But I'll tell you one thing, he certainly hadn't made a lot of money, though. He's a good businessman. I know he gambled a little bit, but he's made a lot of money with LIV and the PGA. So I guess the only thing I could say is I think it's time for Phil to retire. I'm leaving it at that. I have nothing more to say on it. But it's too bad to see a guy who goes to 125 after he's been at the top for so long. Willie, do you want to follow that?
I'll just say this. I mean, this whole LIV thing is part of the Armageddon of sports. And it's when you think about Phil Mickelson and what he was able to do in the rivalry that he had with Tiger Woods, I mean, it's probably the one of the most electric rivalries in that sport since maybe the 80s with Jack Nicklaus and whoever else was trying to beat him. And I was looking at some of Mickelson's last performances, and there's not a lot of times he even made the cut, let alone be in contention for winning one of those majors for sure. So, you know, he's made a lot of money in his life, and apparently he is an astute business person. But it may be time for him to hang the clubs up or put the clubs down or go clubbing or whatever.
Okay, fair enough, Willie. George?
Yeah, he made his own bed. Now he's got to sleep in it, the old saying goes. And that's certainly true with Phil Mickelson. It's really sad because, yeah, I thought he had still some drama, some ability left in him to contend in some of the Grand Slam events, which, as you guys know, the live players, if they qualify, can go and compete in the Grand Slam events. But yeah, he has just fizzled out. He's fizzled out like a fizzled out bottle rocket on Independence Day. He just has not shown anything lately. I like him still as a person. I do not care for the Live Tour very much either. But yeah, it's pretty sad when you look at it. But he did earn a lot of money. Count all those greenbacks, and he had some problems with some tax and betting as some crap that went on. So I won't get into that. But as a golfer, you're right, Scott. As a golfer, his ability is just so diminished now.
Okay, well, go ahead, Jacob.
He had a lot of it was he had during his time he also had psoriatic arthritis, which we see on that ad and all that kind of stuff. So he was really dealing with his health too. But here's the thing with this: he is the only golfer to have 25 straight years in the top 50, and that is an unbelievable run. That's unbelievable by itself. The thing about Liv, we brought up Liv on Pundit's Pundit. You remember that? The one thing about Liv was the fact that I had said, and I was right, that it was going to change up things as far as golf, as far as what the PGA would do. Now the PGA has more events that make more money and shorter to the times. Now they don't have the 54 holes, but they've got more things that are for the player now, like Liv did in the first place. In truth, Liv's about done. The Liv is it's going to be about finished because even the president went over there, talked to Saudi Arabia and said there's no future. So it's going to be about finished. But it's going to be finished. It will be. That'll be probably this year or the next. But the thing is with it is he had a run and a half. And you have to understand what it takes. You have to walk the course. Remember this. And he's over 50 years old. Think about this is like one guy that we know, two guys that we know, Watson and Nicklaus. One was 58, one was 59 that were in the top 5 or 6 in the Masters. And their ages, near 60 years old. Understand how much of an athlete you have to be to do that. And these are all athletes. So this is rough. We're not going to see this again. We're not going to see this again with these players. These players are going to, they're going to retire earlier. So they're going to retire. So that's the thing with it. It's like Liv did its job. It's going to be gone soon. Whatever, we'd seen that. But Phil knew his time was coming too, so he got his money.
Yeah, Willie, you say you have to leave early?
Yes, sir.
Okay. Well, do you have time to comment on one more topic at least, or do you have to go now?
I can comment on one more topic.
Yeah, that would be good. Okay, and then we'll go there. And we'll. I'm sure we'll be in touch. So one thing I want to ask you about is we have this thing about the California taxes, and they're pretty high. So all I'm going to ask you is, would you consider moving, obviously, to a state with no income taxes and influence your decision if you want to play? Obviously, everybody knows about the California state income tax being high. Let me break that down real quick so people know what I'm talking about. So this is what a salary of $1,500 looks like after taxes in California. Gross income, you're talking about $1,500,000 is 58,114, tax rate 49.5%, federal tax 513,164. And these are interesting numbers. State tax 184,557, Social Security 9,114. That's a lot of money being taken out of your pocket. Medicare 33,450, state disability 16,602, total tax 741,886, and again your net income is 758,114. Tax rate 49.5%. Did I need to say all that? 49.5%. I don't know, Willie. I'll let you leave on that note. Okay, well, you know the question.
Y'all ever heard the phrase highway robbery?
Yeah.
There you have it. As a resident of a state that does not have any state income tax, there is no way, and I mean absolutely no way, unless somebody were to double my salary in order to make up for those taxes, that I will move back to California. No way.
Okay.
There's no way.
Fair enough. Why don't you let everybody know how they can get a hold of you?
Shakeback Media Group, Instagram, Twitter, Facebook, TikTok, Coach Willie, YouTube, the Shakeback Media Group. Also, don'tjump.net, our life coaching practice, where we are helping people to change their lives for the better. Hit us up.
All right. Well, glad to have Willie on for the time he's able to do. Great contribution all the way around, and look forward to having Willie on hopefully next Wednesday, right, Willie? You're going to be on at this time next week?
I will be back.
Sounds like good. All right, well, Willie, thank you very much for joining us, and now there are 5 of us left. Thank you very much, Willie. Appreciate you.
All right, y'all take care. Have a good night.
Take care, buddy.
All right, thanks. You
Sure,
too.
Willie.
All right, so let's go back to where we were. Well, actually, you know what? We'll stay. Where were we before? I'm trying to just get
Phil Mickelson.
on what?
Mickelson.
We were talking
Mickelson.
about Phil Mickelson.
All right, so who hasn't gone yet?
Me and George.
and
I
me.
went already.
Okay.
All right,
So
go ahead,
we
Pensman.
When he was in his prime, he was awesome. But like what Willie said, with him and Tiger, he was back and forth. But it was a good rivalry. He did his time. He was a good businessman, made money, but he hasn't made cuts. His last PGA Championship was 21, like Tiger Stripes said. But it's time. He's run out of gas. It's time to retire. Every legend has to retire.
Who's left on this?
I am. And
Okay, go
JB.
ahead.
So he's one of 17 players in the history of golf to win at least 3 of the 4 majors. He has won every major except the U.S. Open. Like Jacob said, he spent more than 25 consecutive years in the top 50. He has spent over 700 weeks in the top 10. He has reached a career-high world ranking of number 2 several times and is a life member of the PGA Tour. Now, this is going to go back a little ways, but hear me out when I say this. Although ranked second on the PGA's Tour all-time money list of tournament prize money won, Mickelson earns far more from endorsements than he does prize money. According to one estimate of 2011 earnings, comprised salary, winnings, bonuses, endorsements, and appearances, Mickelson was then the second highest paid athlete in the United States, earning an income of over $62 million, $53 million of it which came from endorsements. So even if he leaves the game, that doesn't mean all his endorsements go bye-bye. And honestly, with that kind of money, he's made enough money that should last quite the long time. Now I'm going to put the JB hat on. Mickelson had a great career, or having had a great career, but unfortunately his game is not the best it's ever been. It happens to all the great players. You hit the time when you're just not the same player you were. That doesn't mean he can't rebound and win a tournament, but he's not the same lefty he was years ago.
Let me say this part real fast. It's like seeing. I know this part from people looking at history. A lot of people that are golfers look at history, they're all, anybody that's trying, and I know Mickelson would be, I know Tiger's tried, but he got hurt. Jack Nicklaus had a 20-year prime, then had top 10s in top 5s and 10s in his thing after his prime, then won another Masters, then then he got top 6 at 58 years old. Everybody's trying to have that history where they can be old and be awesome. You know what I mean? It's like Sam Snead was 70 in his last major. They're all thinking that they can let Father Time go in their prime, everything like that. But those old players did not beat their. Someone told me a good point about Nicklaus and Snead and all those guys. Those guys played their game, then they went to get an ice cream cone. They didn't beat their body to half to death with it. Maybe they didn't have this. Maybe they had the little spread on against the waist and everything, but they weren't hurt. They weren't injured, and all that stuff like that. They didn't beat themselves half to death with everything. Someone like a Tiger and all these other guys, they do 18 holes, 36 holes, and they go to the gym, and then their joints are absolutely shredded. So we're not gonna see this longevity ever again. And Phil's probably going to be the last one of that kind of longevity.
Okay, fair enough. Let's go back to the tax question. I'm really curious to get everybody's opinion on this. I pretty much laid it out there for everybody. The bottom line is it to be an athlete in California, you're looking at 49.5% tax rate. Depends on what your thought. That's an awful lot of money to be out there. Would you rather go into a state where there's less income tax, where you have a chance to get better players? Because that's a lot. I know it didn't really matter with Jimmy Butler because that Miami Heat were in a bit of disarray. But what are your thoughts?
Just pay me the money. That way I can pay my income tax money. That's all I got.
That's fair enough. Yeah, and a lot of people would say that if you could leave a different situation to improve it, it's another story. All right, go ahead, Jacob.
No way. And it's because it's more than the money by itself. You have to get your guarantee, and then the taxes are going to be there, and then all that stuff, and then how much of your money is going to go into escrow. There's so much to think about with something like this. And it's like, if I'm a professional athlete, first place I'm thinking, I'm not kidding you, I don't care if they're bad or not. First place I'm thinking of is somewhere in Florida, and the second one is Tennessee. You know, it's all that kind of stuff like that. I don't want a California. I don't want anything like that because I want to be like Jaylen Brown and invest the heck out of my money. So I don't want to get it all taxed up like crazy.
Okay. So are you trying to tell me that you'd rather be in California, not in California?
No. Oh, no. No.
You don't want to play in California.
Tennessee or Florida or any of those places with no tax.
That's fair enough. Yeah, I'm with you. I live in one of those states anyways. What about you, George?
Well, there's a lot of players that would disagree. A young man named Magic Johnson. He loves it there. He made a lifetime there. He didn't even want to come back. He didn't even sniff coming back to Michigan except to visit once in a while, and see Izzo and the Spartans play. But I mean, Magic is one of those guys that stayed out there. Personally, I wouldn't. But when it comes to money like that, there's a lot of things to consider. And that income tax and how they're going to get socked is always a factor. It's a tough call. I mean, then you got a family factor. It depends on whether your wife or your spouse is going to want to go, or you want to raise a family there. But the fact of the matter is like you said, Scott, it's awful enticing, at least to investigate if you're a professional athlete, to see if that's a match for you. But like I said, Magic, boy, that just stands out, man. He didn't want to come back. Maybe because of the cold weather too in the Midwest.
Right.
Good thing about Magic, you're correct, but he also became a businessman because of Jerry Buss immediately. So he got to keep building his money up.
I'll grant you that. Yeah.
Hey, Candy, speaking for two people. Go ahead.
Okay, I'll put the JB hat on. When making money as an athlete, there are many decisions one has to make, and state taxes is definitely coming to play, which states like California and New York having ridiculous rates, and states like Texas and Florida having no state income tax. It would be a decision in my mind where I'd want to play and what team I would go to. It would be the deciding factor, but I would definitely have it in mind while I'm going to lose out if I go to the Yankees, where if I play for the Marlins, I know I'm going to have that full amount. I mean, I would still go to the team that I thought was the best fit, because athletes need to think I had not just for this contract before the next one, but the state taxes is definitely a part of it. It would definitely be a part of the decision.
Okay.
So here's what I'm going to say. When you are making that much money, yes, it matters, but are you making that much more money because you're going to a California team, because you're going to the Lakers, or is the contract comparable depending on the team or the state? You know, if you're making 77 million one place and only 50 million, part of it is, as an athlete, this is a business. Is it a business decision for you? Or has it always been a lifelong dream of yours to go play for an iconic team that you've followed forever? That matters too. It matters where you're going to live, where your family, where you were raised, where your family is now. But when you're making that kind of money, you can move around any place. Let's face it. But would it? In my mind, it would matter, and it would play a part. But I don't know that in a lot of 18-year-old, 19, 20, 21-year-olds, if it would really matter to them if they really think about it, because I don't think they think about it when they go to work as a normal person, not even a sports person. They don't think of the whole total package. Is it because there's more than that, just your base salary? There's health insurance, there's, the school system if you have kids, there's a lot more that goes into it, but I don't know that as an athlete they think about the total package.
Okay. After looking at these numbers, and I've looked at them for quite some time, I wanted to really think this one through. Sure, you want to play for the better team on the West Coast, but looking at that number, 49.5%, I mean, 50% of your income is swallowed up in taxes. It makes you think. I had Barbara Feller on earlier on the show, South Florida Tribune podcast, that 7 states have no state income tax, and it's unbelievable. But looking at this number, it's just mind-boggling. I personally would prefer to go to a state where you don't have any state income tax, but you never know. Again, if chasing a championship is your best option in California, you do it. And I will tell you one thing, I do love California. The mountains and the water are absolutely gorgeous. They really, really are. Anytime I get an opportunity to go to California, I'm excited to go. I enjoy Southern California, the LA area. I have a lot of connections there. San Diego's outright gorgeous. And of course, I don't mind going to San Francisco, but the weather and climate in Southern California is unbelievable. 49.5%, let me finish, Candy, is something that I really go out there and think twice about. I really do. Go ahead, Candy.
Well, part of it is where are you deciding to domicile? Where are you putting your residence? Because that's where your taxed at. So it depends on where you live. So you might play in California, but that's not where you live. That makes a difference too.
Okay. Well, I'm just putting it out there. One thing that I am putting out, 49.5% to play, take it out of your pocket over in out in California is a lot. Period. But I'm glad we had a lot of different opinions. Everybody speak on this.
Yep.
And of course, Willie got his opinion in as well. All right. Well, you know what? We're going to turn over to Jacob Pundit. Chicago produced a Pope before a quarterback who throws for 4,000 yards. I'm leaving this as a standalone, or it has to be.
Well, of course they did. I was thinking with the Pope, he needed to have if they were going to have the Chicago Pope, they needed to have the Chicago Bulls intro. And now, dude, to bring him out. He needed to just make it a little extra. Yeah, I mean, congratulations to him as the first American Pope. But as far as the Bears go, I mean, by itself, it's like all of this happens just because by itself, I'm just going to say it by itself. All of those years, it happened because all of those years, you had the Hallis that came from House, and it was an all-run game. Then you go to House, and then you go to Abe Gibran, and he was a terrible coach, but it was run game. Then you have Walter Payton. It's always run game. Ditka, run game. I mean, terrible quarterbacks, and then you bring in other quarterbacks. They don't know how to handle the situation, and then now you draft, and then you're forcing in your death. You're forcing the whole situation instead of especially when they're starting to win, and then now they're going for stats, and it's like all of that happened. It all happened, and it's an unfortunate situation. And okay, stats wise, what could Caleb get? It doesn't matter. They're not going to win with him anyway. So they got the 2 years left. They got the 2 years left and go find something else. Hopefully, someone else will play, and then they can start winning.
Okay, I'm going to go to a comment chat room. CD, yeah, but what you don't understand is that you get much more opportunity for advertising, Cali, in New York that makes up for the taxes. I'll give you that if that's the case. I'm just a little bit overwhelmed by the 49.5%. That's all I'm saying. I'm not going to say that I don't see the other side. And I'm glad that you put it up in the chat room, which is why I wanted everybody on YouTube to go out and see it. So thank you very much for going out there and mentioning that as well. So Candy had a lot of great things on her Fire Up show. I've decided to take on one of them now. So we're going to go to that segment called My Town. And it's really popular on Fire Up. So Jacob, what's going on in your town?
Well, I'll put both of them. Quincy, I was reading up on the thing in Quincy. They had a WWE guy, Big E, who's now retired. They got to get him, which is kind of a big thing for that town because they don't get their only time they'll ever get a really big name in that town is the summer concert series. And this year's going to be the Beach Boys over there. They're all exceptionally thrilled, and they're about 30 years past their prime. So that tells you something. So they got that. And around here in Atlanta right now, they're doing a lot more talking about the possibility of a new hockey team here, see if it possibility happens. And it's going to be going about 2 miles. It's going to be coming in. If they do, they'll be tearing down that mall and then coming in over there. So I'll be about 2 miles away from the hockey team.
Okay.
If it comes through.
So you covered Quincy or Atlanta or both?
Both. That was both. I was bringing
Okay,
up
no
Atlanta on
problem.
that one, yeah.
I hope you have a chance to go out there and see Holman's senior interview, I think, or if you want me to text it to you again, he has a lot of insight on that situation in Atlanta. We're going to actually bring on a guy that will talk expansion the next few weeks or so. All right, Pensman, go ahead. It's your turn.
Last week, Pittsburgh got rid of 2 coaches. They got rid of Mike Sullivan as Penguins coach. They got rid of Derek Shelton also last week. They brought in Don Keller as a turn. But if you guys haven't watched the Pirates, they have, not record-wise, but they are playing a lot better under the new management. So we'll see what happens. We'll see if Kelly keeps his job. So I'm kind of happy with it. We'll see what happens with that. So that's my party shot. Or
Okay.
my town.
My town. Yeah, you're used to that on Fire Up. I think it's great. Candy did an unbelievable job creating it. And that's why we're bringing it over here to the Sports Exchange. Go ahead, George.
Well, as you know, this is schedule release day. So in my town, everybody's taking a look at the 15-win Lions and seeing what's going to happen. They got the second toughest schedule on paper for the 2025 NFL season. Just a couple of things. I know we talked off the air, and everybody, I'm not going to go through the whole schedule. It wouldn't be fair to all of you. But a couple of things that grabbed me. Starting the year in Green Bay. Now, pros and cons, it's not going to be snowy weather in September in Green Bay. It's going to be a doubleheader game. And guess what? It's on CBS. Boy, it brings back memories, doesn't it, Scott, of Ray Scott or Pat Summerall calling those Lions and Packers games way back in the day on CBS. Yeah. And then they follow that up with hosting Chicago at home, Detroit. So they start the season with 2 straight divisional opponents before they play at Baltimore on Monday Night Football in the 3rd week. So there's going to be, I believe, 4 or 5 national television games for the Lions, but it is a difficult schedule. It's going to be very difficult to match that record of last year. Some of the pundits are already throwing out like, oh, man, maybe 10, maybe 11 wins. We'll see. We'll see what happens. But it's an exciting night to be a football fan, the NFL fan, as every fan wants to look at their schedule and see what's shaking for next fall.
I don't know why. Maybe it's just me. I'm not excited about scheduling that. I'll just read it the next day. Too many other things to worry about, but everybody, they made an event out of that like everything else. All right, Katie, you have 2 versions. Yours with JB, and I'll have mine next.
So my version, my town, tomorrow night, the Milwaukee Admirals, which are the Nashville Predators affiliate, AHL, are starting the playoff division finals on their way to the Calder Cup. They start play tomorrow night. They play tomorrow night, Sunday. Then they play the following Wednesday, Friday, Sunday, depending on how many games they need. So good luck and kudos to the Milwaukee Admirals for making it to the next round. They won the first round of the playoffs, and now they're on to the second round of the AHL playoffs. Now, as far as JB's, I'll read what it says, but it doesn't make sense, so I'm not sure exactly. It says, listen, it's always great to go out on top and have a winning season, your last season. Congratulations to the coach and way to go out a winner. But he doesn't name who.
All right. Well, that's okay. We'll leave it at that. I've got something that everybody, when they talk about producing players in Miami, there's two high schools that come to mind. So I'm going to go out there and preface what I'm about to say right now. Coach Jube Joseph says farewell to Miami Central after 3 memorable seasons with the school. The Rockets won a state championship in 2022, his first year with the program. Now, with that said, they were 20 in 2022. They were 14-0 in the national champs. 2023, they were 8-4, the regional finalists. And 2024, 8-1 before having to forfeit all games due to an ineligible player. Wow. You talk about a fall from grace, and then he ended up bowing out. Derek Gibson, by the way, replaced him. And he was the safeties coach at FAU 2022 to 2024. But this guy comes in and he's won state titles coming to Dade County, which Howard Schnellenberger used to say, you have to recruit Dade County, and Mario Cristobal is doing the same thing. But he's 26-6 in his 3 seasons as head coach for the Cougars at Miami Killian. What is the whole story behind that? Miami Killian and Miami Central. If you Google them up, there's an awful lot of good players coming from there, but it's a shame that a guy like Coach Jube would go down when you see the fall so quickly and end because of an ineligible player. That's why I brought this up. It's something very different. But when you talk about college football and you see the amount of talent that comes out of Miami-Dade County, Broward and Palm Beach a lot, but Miami Hurricanes thrive on Miami-Dade County, and that's where Cristobal, Schnellenberger, and a lot of the other coaches are getting it. But more power to you, Coach Jube. It's a tough way to go. I wish you well in your next endeavor, and that's that. So now we have our parting shots. George Eichhorn, lead off.
Well, my parting shot is going to be at the Gordie Howe Bridge. You know, a lot of people don't know about this, but this huge bridge is nearing completion here. And how appropriate that they're naming the bridge after the greatest Red Wing of them all, Gordie Howe. Canada, say what you want, has put out most of the money to build this bridge. They really did help out tremendously as far as the cost goes of this bridge. We still have the other bridge, the bridge to Windsor, which is called the Ambassador Bridge. But the Gordie Howe Bridge, I'm sure, is going to be a great ceremony. I'm sure the former Red Wings will show up, and obviously the Howe family members that are still with us. So that is going to be a highlight of later on in 2025. They hope to have it ready by the end of this year. It's going to be a tremendous bragging point for the two countries, but I really think that it's a great tribute to a man who certainly had one. A lot of people don't know this, but there were a lot of unhappy people when they named Joe Louis Arena. I wasn't unhappy. The man deserved it. But a lot of people felt it should have been the Gordie Howe Arena or instead of Joe Louis Arena when that building was built back in 1979 and 80. Anyways, the Gordie Howe Bridge, I'm looking forward to it, and it'll be a fun time driving over it when it's ready.
You can imagine how much it's going to help for traffic, too. I've been paying attention
Yeah.
watching it a little bit. You know, I've decided to go next. I want to keep the Canada thing going for just a minute, okay? And that's this. Great. I like that, George. It was really good. My parting shot. Travel has plunged 70% compared to a previous year with U.S. and Canada. no surprise, you got the tariff war going on between two countries initiated by President Donald Trump. I hope this thing ultimately settles itself. I really, really do. This stuff about the 51st state, I'm not buying it a whole lot, but I don't want to get too political. I'm not going to do that, but I hope a lot of this stuff does go away. But it's a shame that it has to come down to the 70% plunge because our area in South Florida is affected by Canada. Because many years ago, I lived in Hollywood, Florida, and now what Barbara Feller told me earlier, that a lot of the areas up here in my neck of the woods, whether it's Parkland, Coral Springs, as well as Boca Raton and Century Village, is affected. That's where a lot of the Canadian people are moving. So things are a little bit on hold and unsettled. But I hope and pray that this thing does straighten itself up at some point in time. I really do. It has to go away, but I'm not here to solve the world politics. But when you're dealing with the fact that the United States and Canada obviously is what it is, Florida is affected, and this is a state that I do live in, and I love being here. So I wanted to get that off my chest, George. Great segue with the Gordie Howe Bridge. That's why I chose to say it now. Great stuff, George. That was really one of your better acts. And Candy Ebling will tell you the Gordie Howe Bridge total length of 8,202 feet, approximately 1.5 miles. The longest span is 2,799 feet. Put that number up, Candy, for those that can go out there and see it here on YouTube. Great parting shot, George.
Yeah,
that's why the 70% plunge was appropriate to incorporate at that particular time between the two countries. All right, Penland, go ahead.
The NFL schedule came out at 8 o'clock tonight. The Pittsburgh Steelers have a rough schedule. I know Jacob and I were talking about we're playing the Bears and everything, but we're sitting on a 41-year-old man trying to make a decision. Aaron Rodgers, make a decision because Steelers have to go back to the winning formula. Aaron Rodgers, can you please make a decision? That way, if we can either look for another quarterback or wide receiver or something, just make a decision. You have till June 10th to the 12th. So that's your timeline. So make a decision, please. That's my party shot.
It's a good one. I like that. You bailed yourself off from the April Fool's debacle with Dallas. That's a good recovery, Penman. I'll give you that much because you really look bad there. But good recovery. Okay. And he did get it by the end of the show. I know Candy's scratching her head because of that, but that's okay. Don't worry about it. You'll have him tomorrow night, and I promise I won't say anything in the chat room to give him a hard time. Good stuff, Penman. Great way to go. All right, Jacob, your parting shot.
I brought this up with you earlier, Scott, the NFL Accelerator. It's we were talking about that. It's the accelerator to help minority coaches get themselves a job in the league. It lasted about 3-4 years. You said you knew somebody that got in through it, right? Scott?
Right. Yeah, Torrey Harmon, now that you mentioned that.
Yeah. Guess what? He was one of two total. Through that whole thing, and it's over now. I'm going to say, I want to say.
Why did he land a job in there? I know he was with them.
I thought you said he landed, but no, two people landed a job with him.
Right. Okay. Gotcha.
Yeah, two people landed a job. One in the front office and one in the coach. That's it out of that whole thing. And this is what I have to say tonight on something like this with these people. Bruce Arians, years and years ago, this is way before any of it was popular, just said, okay, I've got black coaches. Okay. And it's like, because I want to, because they know what they're doing. That's the way we all by ourselves need to be. We ourselves need to be that way, because these things right here, I'm not saying the accelerator is a bad idea. I'm saying the execution of everything that keeps happening with something like this is so poor. Like, the way they execute something like this is, oh, we need to be able to do this because we're either guilty or we are the ones that can help you. You understand what I mean? We can help you. You can't get it without us. That's what the execution looks like on something like this at all times. We've got to stop this. because it's in the way that they do these situations when they come up with it, when it comes to the accelerator, when it comes to the hate on the helmets and do whatever. It looks like either, like I said, it looks like either guilt, or it looks like, oh, we don't want the rage, so we don't want the rage and the mobs, so we don't have that thing. You don't know what happens when we have all of this? They wait till it quiets down, then they just shut it down. It just looks like an insult, and the execution's pathetic, and you're insulting you're insulting everybody, white, black, everybody. You insult them in the middle of everything, in the middle of all of this. If you want, by ourselves, as human beings, let's be a little bit of Bruce Arians. You don't force Bruce Arians to do anything. I've seen his kind of personality. You don't force him to do anything. He does it on his own. There are good black coaches out there, but when you do forcing, and there's good white coaches, there's good every kind of coach, but when you do forcing, you don't get the best. You don't get the best. You get to see. But we are also we're also at fault because we're not Bruce. We're not Bruce. People feel like they have to force it because people aren't doing that. And it's like, we need, as human beings, we need a come to Jesus meeting. And I remember a show called A Different World. They're all in jail, 3 white, 3 black. Right. And there was a huge debate for the 20 minutes about who's at fault. No one won. They all left, and they said, we'll come back next week, and it was never brought again, which I wish it was. We need one of those. We need one of those things where it's like, we need one of those come to Jesus things where nobody wins once in a while. We need to start talking and start doing this, so we don't have this kind of stupidity. We don't have this execution issue. Because the execution is just horrible when we do something like this. And when you're doing something like that, which is good for the accelerator and it's a great idea, but then you quiet down, oh, it didn't do anything, so we'll just shut it down now.
Wow.
And guess what? That's an insult too. And it's like, we got to stop this. Don't do it because the mob forced you. Do it because you want to. The end.
No, we'll say one thing. Todd Bowles made out pretty well because Bruce Arians done a really good job in Tampa Bay, by the way.
Yeah. No, he's good, but Bruce knew what he was doing.
Yeah,
Bruce knew what he was doing,
smart.
but he did it by himself.
No, well, he can't solve the issues of the NFL by himself, and I'll give him credit. He's have a tremendous heart, and he has a Super Bowl ring in his pocket too. He's done pretty well for himself. Great, I love that take. It was a great one, Jacob. Well done, thank you.
Oh, just
yeah,
go ahead. I'm sorry. Go ahead.
No, it's okay. No, I mean that was fantastic, Jacob. What else am I going to say?
Yeah, no. My main thing was I just want this conversation when I was bringing it up tonight. I want it to be humans talking to each other, and let's get somewhere. It's got to be more than one. That's all that the thing was tonight.
All right. Tiger Media Stripe says his parting shot is Stars beat the Jets tomorrow night. We'll find out. Okay. And incidentally, there was a final score in the Panthers game. I believe that final score
6-1.
Is that
6-1? Wow.
So,
Yeah, 6-1.
I've had about 3 or 4
Maple Leafs are in trouble.
I better let you guys go.
All right, well, no problem. All right, thanks a lot, Jacob. Let everybody know that I get a hold of you.
Yep.
Okay, if you want to.
Oh no. I'm Sideline Sports on TikTok. Jacob Christner on Facebook. Sideline Sports got taken over by somebody right now. It's between me and another guy, and it's starting to get some people. So it's already looking good.
So Sideline Sports has been taken over?
No, not taken over. I'm talking about the TikTok. That one's been taken
TikTok.
by somebody, and he's helping out. So it's between me and him. So it's starting to get more people, which is great.
Okay. Had me confused. All right. I didn't know if I was that.
You betcha. You have a good night.
All right. You too. Thanks.
Yep.
All right, Candy, go ahead.
The JB side, the parting shot. The Cleveland Cavaliers, the number 1 seed in the East, go down 4-1 to the Indiana Pacers last night. They went up to 11-point leaders in the first quarter and lost it. I believe it was 6 or 8. Mitchell was, I believe, 6 or 8 for 25, scoring 11 points to the fourth quarter for the Cavs and missed 3 key free throws. The number 1 seed was absolutely embarrassed by the Indiana Pacers, who are making their second trip to the Eastern Conference finales. many years, the Boston Celtics, the reigning champions, are down 3-1 to the New York Knicks. They lost their best player, all NBA star Jason Tatum, to a torn Achilles and have blown big leads in 2 of the 3 games, and now face an insurmountable comeback down 3-1. Who had Knicks versus Pacers in Eastern Conference Finals? If you did, you gotta tell me what else to bet on.
Yeah, that's sad about Jason Tatum.
The Boston
He's one,
Celtics.
of, he's
the
one of
Bo-
the good things about the NBA is Jason Tatum. Get back
Yeah.
to the guy. All right, go ahead, Candy. What's yours?
So, a number of us have talked about the NFL releasing their schedule. For the first time in the Matt LaFleur era, the Green Bay Packers are opening up at home against a division rival, the Detroit Lions, I'm sorry. Now, what I don't understand is why in the last, I think it's like 6 games of the season, the Packers are playing divisional rivals all away. So we play we play all 6 of, in fact, 5 of our last 7 games are all division opponents, which is kind of unusual, I would say, that they don't spread them out. We start the year with Detroit, and then we don't play another divisional opponent till the week before this, and I take that back. The Sunday before Thanksgiving, we play another divisional opponent, and then we play on Thanksgiving. So we play a quick Sunday, Thursday against divisional opponents. Just kind of surprised. Glad to see that they're going to open at Lambeau because let's face it, Lambeau is iconic, but it's also an outdoor stadium. So you like to have some of those games, although sometimes people think you have an advantage playing in December in Lambeau. And at least that used to be the case. We are not playing very many games in December at Lambeau this year. Only 2. So it'll be interesting to see. It's amazing what the NFL has done to market their product. We have to have a big reveal just for their schedule. We have to do this. We have to have the international games. It's amazing what the business side of the NFL, what they've done. But kudos to them because they're making money.
I think I'll say about the NFL, they're geniuses and they're billionaires. There's a reason why they are.
Yeah.
Period. You look at all the sports. I mean, their communications department is unbelievable. Can't even get on the NHL media distribution list. Can't even get the local team here to even put us on the media distribution list. But then again, I don't care anyways. But we still do a hockey show just because we want to make sure all of our audience has definitely gone out there and has an opportunity to be entertained by the sport. I want to thank everybody as well on Willie's platform for joining us tonight. If all you are out there and you are looking for some sports entertainment, please subscribe to our YouTube channel as well. We bring Willie back on Wednesday nights, and he's been a very good dear friend of mine for a long time. Willie Epting Jr. is one of the classiest individuals I have ever seen. And I'll tell you one thing, for him to bring up Scooter reminds me of my hockey days when I was fast. So we hope everybody on Willie's platforms have gone out there and enjoyed themselves tonight. We try to respect everybody's opinion and try to be very sincere about those. So please subscribe to our YouTube channel as well. Good party shots all the way around, and we'll continue to modify things to keep the show more and more interesting as well. So Candy, why don't you take I'll let everybody know how they get hold of us. Candy will take us the rest of the way. Go ahead.
South Florida Tribune Publishing Company published a book, Lessons from the Microphone, Tuning into the Enduring Wisdom of Visionary Leaders. It is written by Scott, the Motor City Madmouth Morganroth. And George Eichhorn wrote the foreword. It is available on Amazon, Barnes & Noble, Kindle, Google, and Apple Books. There's a link on our website, www.southfloridatribune.com, where you can find a plethora of great content. Go check it out. If you have not subscribed to our channel, if you see that red subscribe button, please do so. Like us, share us. I don't know why you haven't yet, but please do so. And then you'll get sign up for notifications so you can know when all of these great shows come on. Monday nights we talk baseball. Tuesday nights we talk football. Wednesday and Thursday nights you just never know what we're talking about. If you like to listen to podcasts, you can find us wherever you get your podcasts. If you want to advertise, call Scott 954-304-4941. And if you want to be a guest or have show ideas, you can always email us at southfloridatribune@gmail.com.
All right. Well, Penzin, as we close out, just let everybody know how to get a hold of you. I guess George Eichhorn had to take off a little bit earlier. No problem. So go ahead, Penzin. We'll wrap it up. I want to thank everybody for joining us. I guess Sully is going to get back on. So I guess he knew an opportunity to promote his book. That way I could call him an idiot to himself. He has to get his technical stuff straightened out. He won't have an opportunity to promote his book. Go ahead, George.
Oh, you don't have to put the book up tonight. It's late. Don't worry about that. You can.
Well, I just did.
Okay.
That's okay.
You can read me at gicorn@yahoo.com. You can reach me at X, Twitter on Sanji Sports 99. And also I write for the South Florida Tribune, the contributor section. And there's a link at the end of my column to the book called Detroit Sports Broadcasters on the Air, in which Scott and myself are in there with a bunch of big time stars like Ernie Harwell and George Kell and Al Kaline. And that's it.
Well, that's what it is. We want to. So go ahead, George. Finish your thought.
No, I was just going to say it's been a great show tonight. I thank you all for being on. And Pensman, you're doing a good job there at my piano room. Thank you.
Very good. And also tomorrow's programming note, Fire Up will follow the Sports Exchange. Mike Santos and I will be talking hockey. Candy and the Country Club will go out there and do the rest. So great stuff there as well. Any closing thoughts as we get going? We want to thank Willie Epting.
Pensman has to let everybody know how they can get hold of
Well, you
him.
can do that too then. Go ahead, Pensman.
I got breaking news that Boston Celtics did beat the New York Knicks 127-102. So that series is 3-2 series. So you can find me on YouTube on Pensman Sports. You can find me on X at Pensman Sports. And you can find me on Discord now on Pensman Sports. And you can find me on Twitch at Pensman Sports 07. So that's where you can find me.
So the Celtics live to see another day. Toronto Maple Leafs are in trouble when they go to Sunrise. It's going to be a tough out. That's all there is to it. But we have 2 shows tomorrow night. With that said, I want to thank Barbara Feller for the South Florida Tribune podcast earlier. I want to thank everybody else for joining us here on tonight's edition of the Sports Exchange. Once again, Willie Epting on camera, JB Ellis off camera, Candy Ebling, Pensman, George Eichhorn, and yours truly is here as well. So on behalf of the crew, I want to thank everybody. We'll see you guys tomorrow night. God bless everybody. Appreciate you showing up tonight. Bye now.